In this section, let's talk about some more nuances to the IOS underscore config module. So here I have a playbook. It's similar to what we saw in the first video, in the previous video, except for here I'm not going to be directly specifying the lines. I'm going to be pointing to a source. The source is going to be a file that it's going to be looking for, and I'm going to grab the configuration elements from this file. So if I look at this my underscore config 2a.txt file, which is in the same directory as my playbook, you'll see that I have a series of variables. Notice here it's passing in the variables from my inventory. So in a more detailed way, it can accept Jinja 2 items. So it's going to convert this to whatever the variable resolves to, and then send those configuration commands down the channel. So let's go ahead and execute this playbook. Oops, I forgot to specify my inventory file. Oh, basically I was putting in the text file and not the playbook, so I'm putting that in incorrectly. Let me specify it like this so that it executes properly. Here we see it comes back as no change is being needed, i.e. it already has all those configuration elements on the device because we previously configured them, so it doesn't need to execute them again. Now, if we move on to playbook 2b, this is basically exactly the same as 2a, except I've pointed to a different file. Now let's look at this my underscore config 2b.txt. Now here, notice I have IP domain name, but here I actually have a Jinja 2 for loop. My point in showing you this is this file it's pointing to supports complex Jinja 2 templating. So later in this class, we're going to talk in more detail about Jinja 2 templating. But here I'm specifying to use an external file, and I can put my Jinja 2 elements directly in this file. Here you're seeing variable names. Here you're actually seeing a for loop that's going to go through each of the two name servers, populate this ins variable to get my two name servers, and then here I see NTP servers with Jinja 2 variables. So this file I'm pointing to externally supports Jinja 2 templating. So when we talk about Jinja 2 templating later and we're asking, well, how can I get this Jinja 2 templating pushed to the remote box? Here we're directly coupling the Jinja 2 templating, the creation of a file, and the deployment of these commands to the remote device. So if I go into my group vars and modify one of these name servers, let's change this to 5.5, go ahead and execute my playbook, and now we'll see a change actually gets executed on the remote device. Change was executed. If I query my device for its current name servers, you're going to see 4 of them come back because now we've added a 4th one. We have the 3 ones we previously configured, and now we also have this 8.8.5.5. Once again, our config suffers from the problem that we specify this one, we specify this one, but it doesn't do anything to remove these other 2. There's nothing in there that tells it, hey, these 2 need to be removed from the device. So now we are up to 4 name servers specified. In addition to doing that, we can also add this backup argument. What the backup argument is going to do is actually create a copy of the configuration before any changes are done, and it's going to put it into this backup subdirectory, give it the file name, and then a timestamp on the file name. So we're just going to create a backup before any changes are made. And now if we look at our backup directory, you see that this has been updated to the current timestamp, June 8th, 3:31 my time. So that file has been updated.